The revolution has succeeded, the tyrant is dead, the palace has been stormed, the people are celebrating in the streets, the banners of the old regime have been torn down. The story ends, right? Not quite. In fact, for many revolutions, the hardest part begins after victory. One of the biggest mistakes that writers make is treating revolutions as the end of the story, instead of the beginning of a new chapter. Overthrowing a government is difficult, but building a new one is often even harder. Today, we're exploring what happens after the revolution and how you can write believable political transitions, power struggles, and new governments in your story. Whether you're writing fantasy, science fiction, dystopian fiction, or historical fiction, this episode will help you create power vacuums that feel more realistic. And remember, if you need help with your manuscript or writing, check out our Query and Edit Hub on our website. Now, let's get into it. First of all, we need to get rid of the myth of the perfect revolution. Stories often portray revolutions as a clean transition. Bad ruler removed, good ruler installed, everyone lives happily ever after. History doesn't usually work that way. When an existing government collapses, it takes more than the leader within it. Administrations disappear, military chains of command break down, supply networks collapse, courts stop functioning, tax systems fail, local authorities compete for control. The revolutionaries suddenly face a terrifying question: what now? The skills required to win a revolution are not necessarily the same skills required to govern a nation. A charismatic revolutionary leader may be brilliant at inspiring people to fight, but terrible at managing an economy. A military commander might be excellent on the battlefield, but incapable of diplomacy. This creates opportunities for conflict that many writers overlook. And this feeds into problem number 1, the power vacuum. When an old regime falls, someone must fill the gap. If nobody does, chaos follows. Think about the world of the TV series The Expanse. Throughout the series, power shifts between Earth, Mars, and the Belt. When established authorities lose control, competing groups rush to fill the vacuum. The result isn't stability, it's fragmentation. Different factions claim legitimacy, different leaders emerge, different versions of the future clash. For writers, this means your revolution shouldn't create just one winner. It should create multiple contenders. Ask yourself, who believes they deserve power? Who sacrificed the most? Who feels betrayed by the outcome? Who thinks the revolution didn't go far enough? Who thinks it went too far? These competing answers generate a great story. And the answers to those questions feed into problem number 2. The revolutionaries turn on each other. It's inevitable. One thing that unites revolutionary movements is a common enemy. Once that enemy disappears, the internal division becomes impossible to ignore. Consider the George Orwell's Animal Farm. The animals unite against Mr. Jones. They overthrow him. Victory is achieved. Then the real conflicts begin. Napoleon and Snowball disagree on the future. Different versions emerge. Power struggles intensify. Eventually, the revolution produces a system that resembles the oppression it was meant to replace. This is a lesson many writers miss. Your rebels should not all agree. A movement can contain idealists, moderates, extremists, opportunists, criminals, patriots, and reformists. They may fight side by side during the revolution but become enemies afterwards. So here's the actual question that writers need to ask themselves, and it's a problem that many just certainly avoid or don't explore enough. Who actually runs the country? Winning a revolution doesn't automatically produce administrators. Someone still needs to collect taxes, maintain roads, organize food supplies, enforce laws, manage borders, run schools, coordinate healthcare. In fantasy stories especially, writers often remove a king and instantly replace him with another ruler. But governments are more than rulers. They are systems. Consider the political chaos throughout Game of Thrones. Every time a ruler dies or loses power, the question isn't simply who sits on the Iron Throne. The real issue is whether the institutions supporting the Iron Throne can survive. Armies need leadership, nobles need incentives, cities need protection. Without those structures, the realm fractures. When writing your own revolution, think beyond the crown. Who keeps the government functioning tomorrow morning? And here's problem number 4, which most writers either gloss over or completely forget or overlook. The economy is probably broken. Revolutions are expensive. Wars destroy infrastructure. Trade routes collapse. Factories stop producing, investors flee, workers are displaced, yet many fictional worlds skip this entirely. Let's look at Arcane. Much of the conflict between Piltover and Zaun revolves around economic inequality and access to resources. Political change isn't just about leadership, it's about who controls wealth, industry, technology, and opportunity. After a revolution, citizens will quickly ask, can I find work? Can I feed my family? Can I afford housing? If the new government cannot answer these questions, support for the revolution may disappear rapidly. And now we're on to our 5th and final problem. The new leaders may become the next tyrants. This is perhaps the most fascinating possibility for writers. Sometimes revolutionary leaders genuinely believe they are saving society. But once they gain power, they begin making exceptions. Temporary restrictions become permanent. Emergency powers expand. Critics become enemies. Dissent becomes dangerous. A great fictional example comes from Mistborn, the final empire and the later books in the series. Removing the Lord Ruler doesn't instantly create a stable society. Instead, the characters must grapple with governance, competing ideologies, legitimacy, and the enormous challenge of building something better. This is where many revolutionary stories become truly interesting. The question shifts from how do we overthrow oppression to how do we avoid becoming oppressors ourselves? So if you're writing a manuscript and you're writing your story and you need help tackling this, here are some 10 questions that our Query and Edit Hub always ask authors and work with them on their manuscript to answer. So fill out this exercise, and don't forget, if you need help with your manuscript, check out our Query and Edit Hub on our website. That's nakazico.com/per-writer. There are a plethora of services available for authors, from cover design, copy editing, line editing, developmental editing, proofreading, formatting, bookmarking packages for self-publishers, self-publishing author packages, basic self-publishing packages on Amazon and Kindle, exclusive author packages on 48 platforms. My personal favorite, the author program for aspiring authors who want to traditional publish, author consultations, editorial assessments, structural editing, manuscript critique, substantive editing, mechanical editing, beta reading, query service, book proposal development, synopsis writing, personalized writing coaching, book trailers, and ISBN services. And the best part is you're working with editors who've worked within the publishing sphere for years, even decades at some point. So make sure you check out our Query and Edit Hub, where you can get the support and help that you need for your story to make it that much more compelling. So, if your story revolves around a revolution and you are an author writing it, here are the 10 questions that you need to ask yourself and answer. Number 1, who wants power after victory? Number 2, what factions exist within the rebellion? Number 3, how will food, trade, and resources be managed? Number 4, what institutions survived the old regime? Number 5, who opposes the new government? Number 6, what promises are impossible to keep? Number 7, which revolutionary leader might become authoritarian? Number 8, what happens 1 year after the revolution? Number 9, what happens 10 years later? Number 10, who is disappointed by the outcome? The answers may reveal entirely a new storyline. Many writers treat revolution as a destination. In reality, it's a transition. The downfall of a government creates opportunities, conflicts, betrayal, compromises, and united consequences. And that's exactly where some of the richest storytelling can be found, because defeating a tyrant is easy compared to building a better world. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below which fictional revolution you think was handled best and which one felt unrealistic. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the rest of our political world building for authors series. Until next time, keep writing, keep questioning power, and keep building worlds worth getting lost in.